Oh yeah.
I can't even tell you. I'm that's what freaks me out. When guys like you say, when guys like you say, like, do you know that there's like a group of saxophone players who really think that, like, you're somebody they look up to and stuff like that? I just can't picture it at all. And yet she said, there's people that are doing these little cameos from their house. And I asked them if they'd be interested. And they went, "Oh, we love you. Yeah, come on, do it." And I'm, excuse me for being, like just like a money grubber, but I'm making more dough than when I was going out and playing. I would go out and travel like 2 hours to do some 4-hour gig and come back with a few. Yeah, 31 days a month. I've got like 8 or 10 cameos, and I love them because I just can't get over the fact that there's people that go, "Oh yeah, it's sometimes they say, "Oh, it's my mother's or my grandmother's birthday," but sometimes they say, "Oh yeah, my husband just turned 26, and he's a big fan of yours," and I just go like, "What?" For what I call my 12 seconds of fame in that movie. Like I wasn't even in it. I remember going to see it with my family, and they went, "Geez, I blinked and you were gone. What are you talking about? Why'd you bring us here?" And that's the way I felt about it. Like I wasn't in it for very long at all. And why am I going to Edinburgh and to Manchester and doing a tour of Florida in September and then coming back and in November doing another tour? I just can't figure it out. Like, why you guys want to talk to me? It's just beyond my comprehension. I'm starting to get the message now, but it's still so crazy. Like, I don't know if you have this expression, but in New York City, you have the expression, "You really stepped in shit." That, because before they made people clean up, New York was like a minefield, right? So that was a colloquialism for getting lucky. So I would, like, to talk about stepping in shit. This thing will not go. It's 34 years later, 33 years later, something like that. And I'm talking to you. I can't even believe it that people want to talk to me, or they'll come out and see my show or want me to sign something, like little kids, even come, little kids, their grown-up parents, their grandparents, and they all come together and say, "Oh, like, yeah, my grandfather turned my father onto the Lost Boys, and he turned me onto the Lost Boys, and we all," but like, there's that the movie won't go away. And then there's the fact that I was like in it for, like, I mean, a generous thing is maybe a minute of screen time. I don't understand.
I think that scene, just like, especially people our age who saw it when we were like, I think I'm like, Adam saw it at 10. I'm a couple years older than him. That just scene just seared in our brains.
I mean, literally all day long while we've been waiting to talk to you, I've just been thinking, like, it's basically like me getting on the microphone with you and being like, "So Thor, tell me about Asgard." like you're basically like this, like, legendary character from my childhood. So to be able to talk to you one-on-one, or three on three of the three of us together, is mind-blowing, because
Wow.
like, never but I've looked at that person up on the screen and been like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a conversation with this person, and it's gonna be totally normal."
Now, let me ask you a question. When you had your band, right? This is Aaron I'm talking to, right?
Oh no, yeah.
Both of us have bands.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you had your band and you had saxophones in it, was any part of that like, "Oh, saxophones are cool because I like the Lost Boys," or "We're trying to bring back the saxophone, we like it"? Like, what Because the saxophone is a dead instrument, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it definitely Lost Boys factored in, but it was also because of ska, the ska revival.
Yeah.
Saxophones.
Well, let me ask you a question. When you had a totally saxophone horn section,
Yeah.
what was the breakdown? Alto, tenor, Barry, one of each?
It was for a large section of it. The lead singer, his reed was like, he would never change his reed. And so he had a gross cracked reed in his saxophone. And so he would just kind of honk away. And then the other two dudes were Seth and Jeff, and they were like young punk rock dudes with giant mohawks.
Oh, wow.
And one of them played alto, the other one played tenor. And then I think for a while he played Barry.
I liked it better when he played Barry because it kind of had the wide range of sound.
Oh, man. Having that Barry right in the section.
Yeah.
It just gives it, like, I always think of it as that's the Lady Madonna section.
Yeah. Well, and then so in my other band, my friend Jason would play Barry, and he would double, parts that the bass player would be playing.
Oh, that's so cool.
While the trumpet and the tenor are playing a high part.
Sure.
In unison, then you would have the baritone doubling the bass guitar.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was really, really cool. And then back to Seth and Jeff, though, they would do this thing during the set where about how many songs in, Aaron? Like 3 songs in, they would take their shirts off.
Oh, really?
And they were both like young, like buff dudes.
Oh, wow.
So like that was very much like a through line to me of you in Lost Boys with the chains and the big muscles, and those guys, especially because we grew up in Gilroy, which was really close to Sacramento or to Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like Lost Boys, is obviously fictional, but it was a real place to us. So,
wow.
So none of it seemed that fantastic. Like punk rockers that look like the Lost Boys are like, I mean, I look like I'm in the Lost Boys, basically. Like, the little cartoon on the screen is a drawing of me. And like, I have long hair and I wear all black and
you work out too? You guys both work out?
I do. I'm actually a group fitness instructor.
No kidding.
I'm more of a hiker, backpacker, but I don't. Yeah.
Very cool. So you guys like have got, you're jacked, right?
I wish I was more jacked. I mean, like, I'm stoked. I'm stoked on you. Being up in your 60s now and like still thinking about it the way that you do. And I mean, I really relate to your whole aspect of when you think about going to play a show or going out on tour, thinking of it as war. I mean, that was very much my mentality.
So you managed to keep it together. You never developed a habit or anything like that.
Yeah, well, we had a lead singer that overdosed on heroin when he was 19 and died. And so
you saw where that would end up.
We saw the effects of it, but at the same time, I had this kind of weird nihilistic view of just being a punk rocker and thinking like, I'm not going to live to my 30s. Just like, something will happen. We'll roll the van or I'll get stabbed or something.
Yeah. Right.
And so now it's weird to be like 44 years old and like still playing punk rock.
Wow. So you guys, you're still doing it. Oh, wow. That is so cool because if you took the beard away, that's me.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll be right back after this.
My big goal, and I'm just going to put this out into the world so we can try to make it. I'm really upset that you never played the bandstand again. Like, that just seems like a crime to me.
Do you know what? On their 25th anniversary, I wrote to like the town, the Chamber of Commerce, said I would love to do it. I would love to be there if you're going to screen the movie. On the day the movie came out, they always screen the movie and they never got back to me. Nobody ever called me back or wrote me back or anything. Only that one at the 20th anniversary. And that was because it was an outside company that does outdoor movies. And they were the ones that contacted me. But and I don't know if you guys, when's the last time you've been to Santa Cruz?
Before the pandemic, I'd go down there. And every once in a while, just because I write for the newspaper down there, but I live up in Sacramento, so I would go down there once in a while. Yeah.